people always are curious, like what do people get from MBSR? What kind of transformation, all your clinical years of experience? You mentioned chronic pain, illness, grief, anxiety, all the different things. What would you say, is there things that stand out for you from all these years of experience of what shifts where people engage?
One of the most striking things, there is this interesting invitation in MBSR which says, here you are, you're an adult. Why don't you come and join a bunch of other adults who are going to study the most interesting subject in the world? Well, for all of us, what is the most interesting subject, if we're really honest about it?
Ourselves, right?
Exactly. It's
The
me.
story of me.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the invite.
Yes.
And people love it. So, Mary Oliver, the great poet, Mary Oliver, American poet who died not so many years ago, said once that when she was young, she discovered that attention without feeling, attention, not tension, but attention without feeling is just a report. She discovered that for there to really be a fullness of attention required empathy. What does that mean? Well, it means that there's some relationship between me and the object I'm observing. Whether it's a tree in the forest, or the sound of a bird, or So that's one thing about MBSR is that it helps people discover their relationship with what we would think are objects, out there or somewhere else. Like, what about this body? What about this mind? What about this heart? How do they work? Not physically. What are the interactions? What do you notice when you have these thoughts? How does it shape your behavior or your actions? But to actually begin to attend in that way requires a certain level of intimacy. That's what she's talking about. She says empathy. So many people report trusting themselves more at the end of 8 weeks, for instance. For me, that's a huge thing, to have someone say, I feel more self-trust. That means that I feel more capable of living my life because I understand something about who I am and how I might approach familiar or new situations with more confidence. MBSR wasn't about just training people to be good meditators.
Right.
It was never that from the beginning. It was so that you could ask the question, how do I want to live my life? And then have some means to go out that journey. That journey, which requires us to be attentive. That journey, which requires us to get closer. That journey, which you can't skip the shadows in you, in me, in us. They have to be met in some way. Look more closely, as you were describing, at your habits, at your patterns, at the ways that we're conditioned, and the ways that conditioning narrows or opens up our lives. Usually it narrows our lives. And the widening of our lives comes as our perspective changes. And our perspective changes when we're able to unlearn old habits, old patterns,
which
old
drive
ways
us.
of defining who Saki is, who Kasim is.
So this relational aspect of really meeting people, meeting others, and supporting them in meeting the gold mine within. That's the work rather than the fixing or lecturing. And I think that's what's so quite remarkable about MBSR is like, wait a minute, we're gonna, it's experiential, and we're the expert on our own lives, but are we willing to open up to it? And that's what really for me was so eye-opening and experiencing it is I thought I understood meditation. I had a meditation background before doing MBSR and before experiencing this 1 week with you and John, and it, I just realized I really don't know very much.
What a
I
wonderful realization.
was like, wow, I was doing retreats, and I'm like, I understand meditation. I know how to sit in my cushion and deal with my pain, but there was a gap for me because I would still go on being stressed as how I was before engaging in this work. I'm like, there was a gap between my meditation cushion and my life. I became a good meditator, but wasn't really waking up to my life. And that's something that, for me, the transformation that helped me is waking up to my own patterns, really examine my life.